One of the things that the startup business needs to do to get on the web is to register their domain name. So there's a couple of things that the small business needs to think about. First of all, which domain name are they going to register? And secondly, which registrar are they going to use? Let's deal with the first one at the beginning, because I think that's the one that's most fraught with peril. New businesses oftentimes will not spend the money that they need to do to clear a trademark. And then, in addition to having a trademark infringement problem later down the road when they're stepping on someone's toes, they also register a domain name. And that domain name oftentimes corresponds to the trademark that they adopted. And when that happens, now they've, in addition to having an infringement problem, they've got a cyber squatting claim on their hands as well. And so before you register your domain name, you need to get that domain name and the underlying trademark for your business cleared by your trademark attorney. They'll do a search of all the records in the United States. They'll come back to you with an opinion and they'll say yes or no, it's available for use or it's not available for use. And it's very important also to press them for a decision on whether or not you can use that mark in a corresponding domain name as well. So it's important to get that done. Clear your trademark, clear your domain name first before you go to register it. And also when you're thinking about the trademark you want to adopt, I think it's important to find out whether or not the easy domain name, whatever it is, that is going to be available. So if it is Acme and you're going to be selling shoes, you might want to go out and check and see if acmeshoes.com is available, because acme-shoes.com or Acme Shoes of OrlandPark.com, those are harder things for the consumer to remember. Secondly, registering it. How do you register a domain name? I know that sounds like a simple question, but a lot of people really don't know where to start. The domain names are registered through companies called Registrars. Some of the better known registrars are enam.com, GoDaddy.com, NetworkSolutions.com. Those are the three big players in this space. You go to their websites, you log in, you give them your credit card, and there's a registration process. The question is, where do you want to register your domain name? So in each of those websites, there are terms and conditions of use that have limitations of liability, they have choice of law selections, and all the things that you would normally see in addition to pricing. One of the reasons why I encourage startup businesses to be careful is that some of their choice of law affects who owns the domain name. So, for example, Network Solutions choice of law says Virginia law, and there's been a lawsuit where the Supreme Court of Virginia have said that a domain name is not a personal property right, it's not an intangible personal property right. Instead, it's merely a registration, a license, essentially, a contractual right to hold that domain name. Well, that's going to matter in the event that you go to sell your business, how that domain name is assigned. What happens if the registrar for some reason goes into bankruptcy? Who owns it? Does the bankruptcy estate own the license to resell it to somebody else? Do you own it? Is it your personal property? So these things are things that you need to get counsel on so you pick the right registrar for you in the right jurisdiction with the right terms and conditions of use. There are specialty registrars in the space that can help you as well. Those are companies like Mark Monitor or CSC. They have a little more flexibility over their terms and conditions of use, maybe a little higher level of professional service. They cost a little bit more, but those things are also available to small business owners as well. Keep in mind, which registrar would you like to use when you register your domain name, keeping in mind service levels and choice of law issues primarily.